installing and programming a ammonia sensor on our Ventra XT. To get to where we need to be, you go to Menu Hotkeys, Control Device Setup, and from here we highlight Add a Control Device, press Enter, and now we're going to search through our list of control devices and we look for ammonia sensor. Highlight that, press Enter, and now we're going to choose the ammonia sensor number this is, which we don't have multiples in this case, so we only have one, so we're going to leave that there. Now we're going to choose the zone that it's in the event you have multiple zones. We only have one, so Z1. Now we're going to go on to our modules. Now the ammonia sensor takes 24 volts to run it, and on our new analog input board, it has 24 volt settings or wiring for it, and that's on the module 3 board of the new analog input. So it's going to be module 3, and then we're going to choose the channel it's wired to, which in our case, it's channel 8. Choose that, press enter to confirm, and we have now added our ammonia sensor. And then to finish setting it up, go back to input devices, and then we choose our ammonia sensor, and then your minimum and maximum ADCs and parts per million are already set factory, so you don't need to change that. On your alarm settings, here's where you would choose for a high what you would want to set to get an alarm on a specific parts per million of ammonia that your sensor detects. You know, normally they say you want to be below 25 parts per million at all times in, say, a bird application. So anywhere above that, say 35 or 50, somewhere around there is where most people would want to be notified that there is some elevated ammonia. So you can set that and then enter, and then you can set a low side, but ammonia, we're not really worried about that, so we'll leave it at 0. Then as we go on down, we have an alarm. You can set an alarm delay, which give your house a little bit of time, or your barn a little bit of time to air if the minimum ventilation hasn't come on yet. So you can put a delay there if you would like. We're going to leave ours at 0 because I want to know immediately when we reach 35 parts per million ammonia. And then we're going to go down, and now we have an install and expire. On your ammonia sensor, there is a cartridge that comes that's installed in it that is the media to sense the ammonia levels. There is an expiration date on that. That media will only last about 3 years. So we're gonna put when it was installed, and in our case, September 29th, 2021, enter, and then 3 years from now is when we want to make sure it's changed out at least by. So September 29th, 2024, enter, and then you will get a notification when that date comes to make sure you've changed out your cartridge on your ammonia sensor. Arrow down. Now we must set the input source type voltage, and in our case it is 0 to 10 volt DC, so we're going to set that, enter, and we have now set our ammonia sensor. Back to the home, back to the current, page down, there's carbon dioxide, there's carbon monoxide, and there's our ammonia sensor. And you can have multiples if you want, and that just shows the dash because there is only one that we program. And again, it's showing 0 parts per million of ammonia, which is what we would expect. And that's programming your ammonia sensor.